Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Winning on Wednesday. My name is Juan Vitas. I'm the founder of Winning on Wednesday. Winning on Wednesday is a platform that meets every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And the purpose we're there for is to build meaningful relationships and to help grow and expand your network. We also promote your brand, which is we promote you. And what I always say is that people do business who they know, like, and trust. And today I have one of our fellow WOW members, Amy Geffen. How are you, Amy?
Good morning. How you doing today?
Good, good, good. So tell us about a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a career coach. I have over 30 years of work experience in various fields and 9 years of career coaching. I've changed jobs 13 times and I've changed my career 3 times. I help people find the job of their dreams or just a job.
Wow. So tell us where did you grow up? Where did it all begin?
So it all began in Brooklyn, in an area of Brooklyn that called Flatbush. When I grew up in it, it was called Flatbush. Now it's called Midwood or Kensington or Ditmas Park. And I had a lot of friends in the neighborhood. We lived in a big private house. We rented out some rooms so my parents could pay the mortgage. And I went to elementary school a block and a half away, and high school 2 blocks away, and college 3 blocks away. So it was a really good place for kids to grow up.
And when you were growing up, did you have any inspirations to become? What did you want to become when you grew
Well,
up?
it varied from time to time. At some point, I wanted to become a teacher or a college professor. At another time in junior high, I wanted to become an architect because I was fascinated with plans and buildings and stuff, which that never happened. And then eventually I changed into following my dream of learning foreign languages and becoming a professor of foreign languages.
Wow. Besides languages, do you have any other hobbies or interests that you enjoy?
Absolutely. I love to do the New York Times crossword puzzle every single day. And if I don't know an answer, I look it up. And I don't call that cheating. I call that learning. So I do my puzzle every day. I also do Sudoku puzzles, which are good for thinking.
Yeah, the mind.
And my most favorite hobby is ceramics. I have been doing ceramics for over 20 years. Once a week, I go to a pottery studio where I make pottery on a wheel and I trim it and I glaze it and it gets put in the kiln and I come out with wonderful pieces that I either give away or sell.
What do you like to make? What's your
Well, I
favorite?
make mostly functional pieces, so that means mugs, bowls, plates, vases,
Mm.
pitchers. Occasionally, I will make a more artistic piece, and someone will say, "Well, what do you do with this?" I said, "Nothing. It's an objet d'art. You can't do anything with it. It just sits there and looks pretty."
So wow. Do you find it as like a more the therapeutic as well too? Is like therapy for you?
Yes, it's a really good opportunity to lose yourself in what you're doing and use your creative juices as well as forget about everything else. There were times when I was working full time before I was a coach and things weren't so great in the office, but when I came into pottery I could forget all about that and just concentrate on the pottery. So it
Wow.
puts your mind in a different frame of mind. Yes.
Wow, great advice, great techniques. I mean, you got one for the minds, because Sudoku for the crossword puzzles for the mind, and then you got the relaxing mind with the party. Great advice. That's awesome. So tell us about your what did you go to school for?
So I went to school in college as a double major in French and Spanish language and literature because my thought was I was going to be a professor. And then I went for a master's degree in French. And then I went for a PhD while I was teaching English as a second language during the day. I went at night to get my PhD in French language and literature with the goal at that time to become a college professor. Well, I get my PhD. I got maybe 2 jobs as an adjunct, and I was unable to find a job in the New York metro area as a college professor. I did not want to move because by that time I had met my soon to be husband, and so we were staying on the East Coast. So, what did I do? Here I was teaching during the day. I couldn't get a professor's job. So, I transferred my skills into college administration. My first job at a college was as director of continuing education at Long Island University Brooklyn Center across from juniors. It's still there.
Wow. And what made you to go on your own? Your decision to go on your own.
Good question. So I had a series of jobs. I worked at 3 different colleges. I worked for the city of New York in training. I worked at about a half a dozen different associations, not for profits, for professionals. And then 9 years, let's see. Yes, I had a job as executive director of the New York Society of Security Analysts. Those are chartered financial analysts. It was a contract job. I had a 3-year contract, the only time I ever had a contract. The contract ended after 3 years and they didn't renew, but they didn't fire me yet. So I knew the handwriting was on the wall. They kept me for another 7 months. Then they let me go. They gave me severance, and I said, well, I need career coaching. I need outplacement. I want to keep working. And so they paid for me to be a client of the then called 5 o'clock Club, which is now called Get Five. It's an outplacement company. And I took their coaching and I found some other jobs. And I also took training from them in how to become a career coach. So I continue to work full time during the day, and I started coaching at night, getting clients from Get Five. And then 4 years ago, I quit my day job and I decided, okay, I'm ready to just do the career coaching, quit my day job, and now I devote myself for the past 4 years just to career coaching.
Wow, that's truly amazing. Um, at this point, I like to give the golden moment time. It's basically a piece of information that you would like to leave behind to help somebody to become a better person or business person. So, any information that you want to share or give some example?
Yes, what I have found that works for anyone who's in business or anyone in a career is to find opportunities to speak in public, whether it's an event, a conference, or it's online, Zoom, for a public library, for an organization. I use my public speaking as visibility and as advertising for me because the organization promotes me. They may have thousands of people on their mailing list. And so my name goes out with the title of the talk, and then I give the talk, and people are listening. They often record the talk so more people can listen. And it gives you visibility. It gives you some weight as your thought leader in your field. You know what you're talking about. And so people can say, oh, yeah, she knows what she's talking about. If I need a career coach, I'm going to call Amy or whomever.
Excellent, excellent. And do you belong to any besides WoW? And I know you, do you belong to any other networking group or organizations or spheres of influence?
Yes, I belong to a couple of organizations. One is the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. And within the chamber, which has lots of members, they have 7 smaller groups called business referral groups. So I'm in business referral group number 4, and we meet every other week. And then I also belong to a private networking group called Marshland Connections, and there are about 30 odd people there. No repeats. Everybody has his or her own field, and that meets once a month. I did belong to some other organizations for networking, but they didn't work for me. So really depends on the field you're in. If you're in real estate or finance, you may find these other networking groups work better for you.
Excellent. Now tell us about Geffen Careers.
So Geffen Careers. What is Geffen Careers? Well,
Yep.
first of all, what we're not. I am not a recruiter. I'm not a headhunter. I'm not going to work with a client and hand that person interviews and actual jobs. What I do is I help my clients, first of all, figure out what do they want to do next? Do they want to do the same thing, but in a different company or a different industry? Or do they want to change careers totally? And what does that look like? Then once we decide on, okay, what are the job targets we're going for? A job target includes a job title, a location, and an industry. Then I can write for my client or help them write cover letters, resumes, LinkedIn profiles. I coach clients in how to develop a network. See, if you're in a business, you know how to network, you belong to the networks. But often people who are working in a company don't know how to network. All they
Mhm.
know are all the people who they've worked with for the last 10 years, but they don't know other people in the field. So it's super important to teach clients how to network, how to build your network, find new people. And I prep my clients for the interview process, whether it's an online interview like we're doing now on Zoom, and how you have to prepare yourself and your environment. And how do you answer the questions? What kinds of questions can you expect? How do you answer them? And I also prep my clients for the salary negotiation process,
Oh
which is super
yes.
scary.
Oh yeah. Everybody's intimidated when we talk about money, especially it's a negotiation, basically. That's what it comes down to. Yes.
Exactly. And so I teach them how to avoid having the conversation before they get the offer, and then how to have the conversation once they get the offer, and how to do the research to find out, well, what is the real range for that particular job title in that particular geographic location. And I also teach people how to follow up. If you have an interview or a meeting with someone, you must follow up with an email. Some people don't realize that. They just say, oh, okay, fine. Didn't go. I'm not responding. You always have to respond. So that's essentially what I do. I do private one-to-one coaching. I do the webinars, group webinars, and occasionally I do run groups of people. So
Yes.
that's Geffen Careers.
Yeah. Wow. That's excellent. Thank you so much. And what's the best way to people to reach you or contact you?
Best way is by email, geffena108@gmail.com, or you can call me 347-853-4616. But I don't always answer my phone. If I'm with a client, I may not pick up the phone. So you're better off with an email or a text message to the phone number, and I'll be happy to answer you. And also, I do offer a 30-minute free consultation. So if you think you want to work with me, but you're not sure, happy to chat with you, find out what are your issues and your challenges, how I can work with you, and then you can decide whether you want to work with me.
Absolutely. And I strongly recommend working with Amy because she has helped give great advice, always great advice and always helpful. So I highly recommend using Amy. So if you would like to, thank you, Amy. Thank you again for sharing your story. And
Thank you.
and if you'd like to become a member for Winning on Wednesday, simply visit our website, www.winningonwednesday.com, and click on the first time guest. And we hope to see you next time. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.